Hello guys, Madoka Magica here, and we are back with part 2 of my reaction to Scene0, the Mabayu Aki story. Before we get started on the actual reaction, I'm going to start off this video with going over the notes that I've saved from the prior reaction, right? Because obviously the audio in the last video wasn't the greatest, so I went ahead and decided to save some notes of the most important things and like details and stuff that I picked up, and we're going to go over those now before we get into the reaction. So, number 1, she's emotionally stunted and depressed. Mabayu is introduced with an implication of a past trauma dictating her present nature of a withdrawn and emotionally repressive girl. She has insomnia and emotional numbness and memory fragmentation, which while clearly tied to magic, is also implying a tragedy that occurred in her past. Number 2, isolation is her coping mechanism. Mabayu does not give off the vibes of a shy, antisocial loner, but rather somebody who views connection as risky and exhausting. It links to the tragedy involving her parents, which is alluded to several times. She shows a resignation to being alone, rather than a bitterness when she sees others with their friends. 3. Her mental state is bleeding outwards into her living space. She exists in what I've called a depression room, a messy but organized space that she can navigate but shows no drive to clean or patch up. She is used to this stagnant space that she thrives in because it is tight and compact and easy to understand in comparison to the big, wider world outside. Number 4. Sleep is her primary form of escapism. Mabayu clearly suffers from insomnia and repeatedly seeks sleeping and dreams. She's chronically tired enough to consider short bursts of sleep to be enough to keep her well rested. This doesn't happen suddenly, and it implies that it's been a long-term routine tied to depression. Number 5. Her memory loss could predate Kyubei's influence. Mabayu has a fragmented memory which reads less of a magical interference and more like something that's being amplified by it. She forgets small and taxing details which she might not consider important but can remember in great detail what gives her structure and comfort. It is like memory loss associated with ADHD. Number 6. All perceived criticism is internalized. She never outwardly clashes with anyone who she thinks criticizes her, whether it be about her appearance or her usefulness. She absorbs it as fact and moves on, which reads as a learned strategy to deal with negative experiences. Number 7. She only puts in the bare minimum. Mabayu doesn't seem to be able to put in more effort than what is necessary to survive and get through the day. Her attitude towards school, work, and daily social routines is reactive and not proactive. She avoids participation wherever she can. Number 8. She is attracted to inanimate objects. Her heater and school desk are noted as her favorite things that she loves, likely linked to this past trauma she experienced. She seems to gravitate towards them because they are predictable and cannot possibly leave her, like is clearly shown with her parents. Number 9. Film imagery is an important motif. Film reels as the main design motif of her magical girl outfit, as well as imagery of things being cut, memories shown on film strips, and repetition of words like a film jumping and repeating show a clear and important detail that links back to her want for escapism and a controlled space. Number 10. Mabayu is an unreliable narrator, and it's why Scene0 is a retcon. Mabayu clearly is an unreliable narrator due to her fragmented memory. Scene0 is presented as a secret prequel to the main series, and it's likely because of this exact narrative function. Mabayu is the kind of character introduced as a retcon who was, quote, always there in the background, and this narrative device is being used to dictate her as an untrustworthy narrator. And number 11, she can abnormally perceive and move through Homura Akemi's time stop. Homura Akemi's ability to freeze time follows some specific rules. Unless Homura herself is attached to something during her time stop, everything but Homura remains frozen. In the Rebellion story, We got the best example of this when Mami was able to move in her time stop because she had a ribbon linking herself to Homura. Mabayu seems to be able to do this without needing to link to Homura and can even disrupt things that are frozen in time. So, as you can see by my notes, I've taken a great interest in Mabayu as a character. She's a very interesting modern Madoka Magica character, and I haven't really felt this level of interest for a character since Yachio was introduced. And Yachio, that's a long time ago now, since Magia Record was first introduced. I want to say it was, I'm probably getting my dates wrong, but I want to say it was 2015 that the mobile game first dropped. But yeah, so it's really cool that we have a modern character who's like this interesting and this in depth, and I feel it's probably because of the context of what this story is, right? Serving as kind of a prequel to everything. But yeah, so that's like the obvious stuff. Let's just get that out of the way. So I'm probably going to do this for the start of every video. In this series is like go over notes that I've saved, if I've saved any, and do a recap and stuff and give my current thoughts on what's happening and who's doing what and all that. So with that out of the way, we're gonna go over to the video now, and we will continue our reaction. Obviously yesterday we left off at the beginning of day 6, and we're going to continue from here. Once again, I wouldn't be able to do this without Raz's documentation of Scene0. So again, thank you very much. Link to the channel and the original video will be in the description. Make sure to go subscribe to their channel. Without any further ado, let us continue our reaction. Oh, and hopefully my voice will be a bit louder this time. Did I make that? Sorry guys, had to pause there. I was having some issues with my headphones, but we are back, and let's continue. Okay, so school trip. Okay, interesting that we have a situation where Mabayu is like being put into a social setting, right? Like the first details obviously we can glean from Mabayu is that she's an isolationist, so it's interesting that we have a scene like this, right? This is obviously going to be some kind of big conflict for her, is like having to interact with people, so I'm interested to see how that goes. Yep, again, mind's wandering, right? Going back to a source of comfort. Definitely a repeated coping mechanism. And again, right, she's like coming back to the idea of wanting to slow down, wanting to go to not just a place of comfort, right, but again, it's sleep specifically. I pointed out sleep as a pretty important recurring motif for Mabayu, right? Is that sleep is like a form of escapism for her, and obviously here, while she isn't saying it explicitly, at least not yet, right, like, you know what she would do if she found a bench right now. She'd probably sit down and go to sleep. Whoa. Time stop again? Oh no, it's a... Is it a labyrinth? Yeah, labyrinth. Okay, interesting. I'm really curious specifically as to what the witch is here. I wonder if it's anything that I recognize. Probably from the main series if it was anything. The background is already kind of telling me to expect Gertrude. I vaguely remember this kind of imagery being associated with her. Oh, Mommy's here. Okay, so that tells me that we're gonna see, we'll probably get the reveal that Mommy obviously knows who Mabayu is. Huh. Is Sayaka already a magical girl in this? Oh my god, she does have a soul gem ring, I think. Hang on, I gotta turn back up the quality. For anyone joining in, obviously I just run the quality down low so we don't experience any interruptions while streaming. You know, not the best setup and all that, so... sorry, while recording. That'd be even more of a disaster. Anyway. Okay, I can't quite tell. I think she may have a soul gem ring already, so that's interesting. She's already a magical girl in this time frame. So she would have become a magical girl fairly recently. That's right. Or I could just be wrong. Yeah. Maybe she isn't a magical girl and I'm just jumping ahead. Anyway. Oh, I just completely glossed over that. So hang on, let's go back. She gets saved from the labyrinth by Mommy. Maybe-ish. Right, she's tripping over her words and stuff like that. Sorry, guys. Right, so she's like tripping over her words, stuff like that, and she even calls this out. What am I even saying? I wish I knew how to talk to people. That's a pretty good read on yourself, Mabayu. Lost is a pretty good word I would use to describe her, right? She's obviously just wandering aimlessly through life. Lost seems fairly fitting. Oh, that's so clever. Again, okay, so it could be that Sayaka is a magical girl and she's just being vague here, but Sayaka isn't the type to be vague, at least in my opinion. But that's so clever, right? We obviously just saw her in a labyrinth, and the implication is Sayaka also knew she was in a labyrinth, so she's talking about a maze, but, you know, it seems to be related to something else. That's obviously a pretty good narrative thing here to, like, keep you disoriented, like Mabayu. So that's pretty good attention to detail. Yeah, okay, she doesn't have a soul gem ring. Oh, that's... Yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting, right? You put her in a social setting like this, something's gonna come up that immediately challenges her, in a way... Sorry guys, again, had to step away for a quick second there, but yes, as I was saying, right? She's obviously being thrust into a position here that's, like, directly challenging one of her biggest insecurities, or, like, one of her biggest fears. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. Don't put that responsibility on me. Yep, see? I hate being put on the spot. It's not so much hating being put on the spot. To me, it's more like, She just hates being like, yeah, well, I guess being put on the spot is it, right? But it also seems like a fear of needing to do more than what's necessary, right? As I put it last video. But then a fan note to Sayaka, right? I pointed this out to a fellow content creator some time ago, right? Sayaka is like deliberately takes on traditionally masculine roles, when the situation calls for it, and I think that's like really. One day I've really got to dive into that. I want to do those type of character dives again. I used to do them on an old channel, but they weren't the best. But Sayaka's relationship with masculinity is something that I feel is like really underlooked when we talk about Sayaka as a character. Right, she's like got the princely attire in her magical girl form. She's the lead in the relationship between her and Kyosuke. It's she's active, she's a go-getter, she's obviously a tomboy character, but like I feel like it's worth exploring Sayaka through the lens of like forced masculinity, if that makes sense. Anyway, let's continue. Wow, that was a short day. Sheesh. Okay. Amy's back again. Okay, so obviously if you guys were watching in the last one, you know that Amy is from the drama CD, and her fate, like her position in the story, is that she gets run over by a car and she is saved by Madoka wishing for her to come back to life. And we are seeing the result of that. I still can't believe Amy's actually in this shit, man. That's so cool. So that's cool too, I think, right? We're seeing a bit of an active evolution for Mabayu as we're going here. She was connected, she only really cared about the inanimate objects in her life prior, but now we're seeing that she's growing a connection to Amy. So it's a small thing, but it's like it's something, right? It's something other than just a desk or a heater. And she's actively trying to reach out to Amy, like even though she's just like a cat, right? That's still like Mabayu putting in some effort, right? It's probably the first time we've seen her putting in effort. So another thing, the cafe's name here is called Recompense. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's called Recompense. In Walpurgis Nacht Rising, the cafe setting that I've been focusing in on, the silverware, the menu, and like I want to say the plate as well, while also having the teddy bear motifs, they actually do have the letter R as an initial. Now, maybe Recompense is the cafe scene in Walpurgis Nacht Rising, but I'm not going to immediately link to it. But I do want to just do my due diligence there and point that out as something that I've noticed after the fact. Snub. So, I'm gonna make a kind of an early prediction here. I feel like Amy's gonna be the stand-in for her parents, in a way. She's gonna reach out and try and connect to Amy, but I feel like something is gonna, like, Amy might not want to connect to her. And so it's gonna potentially be like a narrative repeat of whatever happened to her parents. I don't know, maybe not, but that's like the initial vibe I'm getting here, right? Like, clearly Mabayu's trying to connect to Amy, but Amy seems disinterested and then runs away, see? It all depends on what her reaction is here. If it's like, you know, resigned, or like, you know, it's, she's used to it, is what I'm expecting. Right, so obviously confusion. Okay, so slightly different than what I was expecting. It's more of like she's annoyed, right, that her efforts are being ignored. And again, right, it's like she's putting in the bare minimum, right? Like, she got tuna because, you know, cats like fish. So it's like, oh, I did this, why isn't it working? Without recognizing that, you know, without taking the time to actually look into what somebody might want or might like, you're not going to really get anywhere. You're not going to get results. You have to put in the time and effort to try and figure out what the other person wants. Yeah, it kind of like feeds into the idea of her just being passive, you know, doing these things expecting it to work, not recognizing why it isn't working. Which really makes me curious as to how this translates into her being a magical girl. Because she clearly is a magical girl, right? We saw at the end of the last part of this is that, you know, she obviously has magical powers. She has a soul gem ring, stuff like that. So, you know, what's going on there? Why is it so, like, everything about her being a magical girl goes against what we know, right? Her soul gem should be on her at all times if she's a magical girl, and if it isn't, she should be feeling like she should be, like, effectively dead. Now, maybe the soul gem being away from her is why she's exhausted all the time, maybe, but I feel like that's kind of a cop-out. I feel like there is an actual emotional reason as to why she's exhausted and tired all the time. And even then, right, the soul gem distance theory wouldn't even work, because the soul gem is in her house and she's tired when she wakes up in her house. So, you know, it's not a get out of jail free card explanation. Besides, she's also like seeking rest and stuff, right? It's like, it might not even just be because she's tired. It's just like what she likes to do is sleep. It's her favorite thing, maybe. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, wasn't she literally right next to it as it happened with Sayaka? We never did get, yep, there you go again. There it is, right? This is exactly what I touched upon in great detail in the last video, is like, she does not want to go out of her way to, like, engage, right? She doesn't want to worry Sakie because then it would come back on her and it would be too much to deal with. That's also kind of interesting, right? I wonder if this has some, like, it obviously has something to do with the story. Like, you're not just setting up that there's a repeating incident happening at this factory without it being relevant. But I wonder if it's something specifically to do with what appears to be Mabayu's powers.
生徒が行くんだから安全には気を使ってほしいんだけど。おっしゃる通りで。
Possibly a great line. Possibly a witch that's attracted specifically to Mabayu? Oh, but no, she keeps going there, so never mind. It is established that she's,
もう全部作り終わりました？あ、忘れてた。デベロ。
And there she is again, obsessed with order, like, right, like getting things done. Well, no, obsessed with structure.
注文の詳細読み上げてくれる？
She's probably gonna have a bad reaction to this.
退院祝いのケーキだったと思う
A
けど。
welcome home cake? Oh shit, Homura.
はーい。曜日？暁？
Oh, fuck, are those names I know? They sound familiar.
なになに？
Yobi Akatsuki.
名字読み方がわかんないんですけど。
No, she's just reading it wrong. Yobi might be
朝
Kyubei?
の暁に美しいの美
Akami, yeah, okay, I was gonna say, hang on a minute.
で、
Homura
名前
Akami.
がひらがなのホムラ。
So, wait, wait. Who is making the cake? Who's buying this? Who knows Homura already?
メッセージは
Although I guess if, depending on when this is, this could just be like right after she came back to school and it's like a group effort by the students. But still, if this is before,
曜日
congratulations Homura Akami, welcome home.
ムラちゃん。
Okay, this is 100% gotta be Madoka.
はい、
That's cute.
おめでとう。
So that's interesting. Skipping to day 10, interesting again. Whoa, okay. School roof. It's been a while since we've seen this setting. At least, like, for me, as like a...
むさぼるダミンは最高です。
Nothing beats an apple.
位置について。よーい。
Oh, wow, right. So we're just gonna see, like... Oh, you know... Oh, it could be the teachers that did the cake, right? Yeah, that makes more
ラ
sense.
ウンドで体力測定ご苦労様です。
Best of luck, peasants. Yeah.
ポカポカ陽気でこんなに風も気持ちいいのに。勉強だの体力測定だのやってられませんよ。出席日数は最低。
There you go. Said exactly as I've been saying it. Minimum attendance. She wants to put in the least amount of effort possible. It's a really fascinating character study, right? You have this character who's like clearly got these great powers, but you know, either can't or doesn't want to put in the effort to actually use them.
テストもギリギリ切り抜けて学校を
Barely
卒
passing
業。
grades, a diploma by the skin of my teeth. Yep, there you go.
私の
Just minimum effort.
貴様です。
It's not gonna last, but you know.
しかし最近本当に変ですね。身の回りでいろんなことが起こって今までこんな妙なことが起こった記憶なんてないのに、工場の事故に巻き込まれたりとかエイミーが生き返ったりとか、極めつけは時間停止ですけどそれも全然意味不明だし。
Yeah, right. The world's closing in on her. She can't just be passive anymore, right? That's kind of the core of this story, it seems.
時間が止まるって言っても
And I can't control it.
操作できなきゃ意味ないですよ。
So there you go. There it is. Again, just said out loud. If she can't control it, she's afraid of it. And that's why she has such a small room. That's why she puts in the bare minimum effort to interact with people, because it's small, easy to control, easy to understand. But she does seem to have powers, and we don't even really know what they are.
ネガティブは良くない。
Some kind of foresight, right? That's the initial
もっと前向きに考えましょう。自在に操れようと操れまいと時間が止まるのはすごい。
Is it
だから
though?
もし次に時間が止まったら
Yeah, she's not gonna do anything big. She's probably gonna sleep during a time stop, right? I guarantee that's gonna be something we see. She sleeps during a time stop and will have so much energy whenever it isn't time stop that'll be like abnormal to the people around her. That's yes.
カンニングとか
Cheat on another
いやいやい
quiz.
や
No.
発想が貧困。
Okay.
なんかこうもうちょっとあるんじゃないですかね自分。時間が止まったからこそできること。
At least she has a pure mind. Her mind isn't going to the gutter when you first hear time stop. That's a good goal. We like that.
泥棒とか。
Holy shit. Come on, Mabayu, what are we doing?
私時間が止まってもろくなことをしないのでは。なんか校庭から声が。明美さん大丈夫？
Right, so day one of Homura returning.
身体測定高跳びでマットから外れちゃったんですね。
I gotta say, it is really interesting to see this. I mentioned this kind of briefly yesterday,
高跳びなのに。
but it's really interesting to see, like, the other side of the story, right? Like, to see this side of the world that we didn't get to see
こん
before
な遠くまで飛んでる。
through Mabayu's eyes.
随分元気なもんですね。私にもその体力分けてほしいものですよ。にひひひ。大量。まさかワゴンセールでこんな掘り出し物が見つかるなんて。
Wow.
一世を風靡したアイドル映画の金字塔。帰ったら早速尾道の情緒をたっぷり味わって。
Onamichi City's seaside charm. Okay. Hitomi, my beloved.
どこまでキャラ
Sorry, I love Hitomi.
すれば済むんだあの転校生は。
Yeah, wow, this is literally just happening alongside episode 1. Holy crap.
まどかさん、本当に明美さんと初対面なのでしょうか。さーて、怪しいんじゃないの？
Totally sus. Okay. Okay. It is
今日だって
really cool.
私たちじゃなくあの転校生を選んだわけだし。
Oh, yeah.
私たちまどかに捨てられたんだよ、ひとみ。ああ、はいはい、よしよし。あれ？この前工場で会った。名前何でしたっけ？覚えてない。
Yep, wasn't important to her, so it didn't stay in her memory. You know, maybe we're seeing these days fragmented like this because it's like the days that are the most important or like the most interesting things happen to her, so it's like we're literally seeing her memories, and anything we're not seeing, she just didn't care to remember. Again, seeing this with Sayaka, she doesn't remember Sayaka's name, but she remembered Mommy's name, which is, well, it's probably because Mommy keeps showing up at the cake shop, right?
彼女のおかげで怪我をせずに済んだわけですし、一応声をかけますか。
I do like that. Wow, that's really interesting. So she's gone out of her way to go speak to Sayaka, but time has stopped. So this is probably when, this is probably during that montage we see in episode 1 of like well, not the montage in episode 1, but like the montage in episode 10 rather, where we see like the other side of episode 1 of Homura stopping time to like catch up to Kyubey before it reaches Madoka. But then this is also in a timeline presumably where where Madoka has made her wish. So that's interesting why this would even be happening here. But that's depressing, right? She's like doing all this, putting all this effort in to speak to and thank Sayaka, but time stopped, and obviously Sayaka's not gonna hear it, so that's just sad, man. All of her effort's gonna be for nothing, right? Because Sayaka's never gonna hear it. So it's probably gonna drive her away even more. It's gonna push her further back into the shell. I wonder how literal that is. Well, there you go. I clocked that. Like, I seem to have clocked that like day 1. Okay, so at least she recognized the time stop again, so that's good. That could have gone in a very different direction, right? Yeah, but you've already wasted a lot of time. Wow. You know, that is a pretty clever way. That's a pretty clever application of time stop. I'll give her that. But that's so interesting, right? She had the opportunity to like wait around with Sayaka and actually thank her, but like the second she realized, oh, hang on, I can retreat into my comfort zone, she prioritized that instead. Huh. Kinda sounds like Madoka Magica. What the fuck? Holy shit. Dude, she didn't even know. That's crazy. So is Homura stopping time at specific points for her to get out of the way of things? Maybe, I don't know. Clearly, Mommy is aware of her. And I would hazard a guess that Homura is too in some way. Right, it's seemingly arbitrary, right? Because it's just reactive because of Homura. Huh. That's an interesting read, right? Am I supposed to stop asking questions and just go with the flow? Am I allowed to do that? Am I allowed to be okay with what's happening? Do I have to keep questioning things? Am I okay to not question things? That's kind of interesting, right? For a character who is portrayed as very passive, it's like she has an internal voice that reads very differently, right? So that's interesting.
マバユちゃん、最近どうしたの？どうしたって？心配事があるんじゃない？いや、全然。
Peak normal.
そうは見えないんだけどな。確かにマバユちゃんは空想にふけりがちだけど、心配事があるんじゃない？
More absent. So that's interesting, right? We're seeing her be more reactive to things, but on the outside, it's like she's more distant, which is obviously like that's always been the case with the world of Madoka Magica, right? One of my favorite aspects of the series is like whenever somebody becomes a magical girl, it's like, you know, the world outside seems to fade away, or like they seem to fade away in comparison to the world outside. Obviously, the best example is Mommy, right? Her death is like so much more tragic because like nobody really knows that the magical girls really exist, and she has no family. So it's like the outside world didn't accept her after she became a magical girl. So we're kind of seeing this happening in real time with Mabayu. Seems to be the case. Which is just so fucking sad, right? I know Sakie would take me seriously no matter what I told her, but hey, time keeps stopping and I might be the only one who noticed. Yeah. Again, huh? Okay.
一体どう返事すればってあれまた時間が止まってるチャンスこの前映画を見たとき
Wow. Again, there you go, right? As soon as there was a situation that she could have put effort into, the first thing she thinks about is her comforts.
5時間しか過ぎてなくて後で思い返したら時間が止まってたんじゃないかって確かあの時途中でプレイヤーが停止したんですよでも手で触ることで再生が再開された
Oh, is she gonna try bring Sakie into the time stop? That's kind of interesting. But again, this rule is supposed to only apply to Homura, so why is it applying to Mabayu? Amy's frozen in time. Okay, so she doesn't think of applying it to, oh, this is not going to go well, right? She's going to form an attachment to Amy that's probably one-sided because of this time stop. She's probably going to bring Amy into the time stop. Yeah, Amy's probably going to end up fucking terrified of her. Yeah, Amy's gonna hate this. She's probably gonna... I wouldn't be surprised if she bites Mabayu here. Yep, there you go. She isn't considering how Sakie is gonna react, right? She just mentioned, oh, you know, it must be like I appeared out of thin air, but what about Sakie's reaction when time returns to normal, right? If she isn't there, it's gonna be like, hey, my my niece just fucking vanished, right? So she isn't thinking about the emotional.
困った。
She isn't thinking about like the emotional toll on the other people around
やっ
her.
ぱり私が触っている間
And that's obviously not like a malicious thing, it's just that it's not
時間
occurring
停
to
止が
her.
解けるんだ。
Okay, so she's back to talking to Sun, huh? Okay, she did actually go
今
back.
早紀江さんを触ったら時間停止が解けて私の悩みが現実だって分かってお医者さんに連れて行かれるようなことは
Yeah, but time's probably gonna return to normal, like, right now, right?
かもしれないかも
But there you go, there's the struggle, right? She could do it, but it's too much effort.
やめておきましょうこんなの知らせたところで解決法があるわけでもなし余計な心配をかける必要はないです
Well, there's also that.
それよりも前々から気になってたんですけど早紀江さんって一体おいくつなんでしょうか海外でパティシエの武者修行を長年してたという設定なのに
Huh.
見た目いや中身もですけど
Hmm.
だいぶお若い
Right. I wonder if there's gonna be a twist here where it's like, you know, she's masquerading as her aunt, but is actually like her sister or something.
というか知りたいいやでもよくない
Well, she at least has a moral compass.
わかりますわかりますが
Well, she's aware of her moral compass. Is she gonna follow it?
今早紀江さんの荷物から免許証を抜き出せば永遠の謎が解ける免許証がどうしたのいえなんでもないですあらそう危ないところだった
Sakie obviously knows a bit more than she lets on, I'm sure. It's kind of like a Junko Kaname situation, right? Junko obviously knew more than she let on with Madoka and stuff. Like, I am positive Junko has met Kyubey, right? That's been like a theory that's been like floating around the series like since the beginning. I remember seeing that years and years and years ago. I'm sure that that's true to some extent. I feel like it might be true for Sakie as well. 美しいこの間は運よく一本分席代が浮きましたからね I wonder why specifically movies are her comfort. Like, obviously, there's the aspect of escapism, right? There's like the aspect of like her wanting to go to a world that's not her own and all that. But I wonder what specifically inspired it. Maybe something to do with her parents, right? I guess that's the easy option. But it is interesting that, you know, someone close to her like has nothing to do with movies. Like, you know, Sakie has nothing to do with movies. She's a pastry chef, but Mabayu's interest is something completely different. You know, she's not picking up an interest from the people around her, at least that we can see. So yeah, it kind of makes me question where it came from, at least a little bit.
普段見ない名画のリバイバル上映にやってきたわけですが心地よすぎて眠い抜群の音響も座り心地最高の席も 私を眠りに誘っています
Wow, she isn't even interested in the movie. It's well, to be fair, it is a movie she's already seen, so it probably doesn't matter that much to her.
なけなしのお小遣いをつ
Okay,
ぎ込んだんです
that's interesting. She's actively trying to fight against sleep,
家に
whereas before we would see her actually just resigning to sleep pretty quickly. So again, it's like a very small character. Oh, there we go again. So it's like a very small character growth we're seeing. Anyway, I guarantee she's going to use this time to stop to sleep, right? Exactly how I predicted. Yep.
じゃないですよね。よりにもよってこんなところで。
Whoa, that's interesting. Huh.
これでやっと集中して映画が。
Super brief one. I wonder if we might see. I was literally just gonna say. I wonder if we're gonna see it's like repeats a bunch. There you go. I'm trying to remember when this happened. When this would have happened. Maybe a training montage with. Maybe it's like during that training portion with Mommy and Madoka, right? Where she like uses the golf club. Homura uses the golf club to like beat up a can. Oh, it also could be the Patricia fight, I just realized, right? Quick refresher, Patricia is the witch that's like on the clothesline. I'm pretty sure that's her tagline, is the clothesline witch. But Mommy, Madoka, and Homura teamed up to fight that witch. That's what could be happening here. I don't know though. What I'm most interested about is what day this is going to end on. I've got a feeling it should be day 45 because that's how long Homura's loop lasts. It's 45 days from the beginning of her coming out of hospital until Walpurgis Noct arrives. So I wonder what's going to happen on day 45 if we get that far. Wow. She's just, again, being passive. Yep. Slept through the time stop. I mean, you could use that to your advantage. Oh shit, again. Unless this is just nighttime, but this looks like the same visual as That's interesting. Okay, yep. Oh yeah, it's probably really hard to move through that, huh? Oh, that's an interesting way of doing this, right? It's like making them actually frozen. Oh right, it's because it's an accumulation of it. She is really perceptive as well, huh? Wait. Oh right, she's talking about Homura. obviously.
雨粒のトンネルは
Oh wow, this is that
この
this is that
このそば
setting where they fought Gertrude.
時間停止の中で動ける誰かがどんな人だろう見つけたら
Oh, I'm so excited to see them finally fucking interact.
こんな時にぼっちでコミュ障の発作が
Or maybe they picked exactly the right
時間が
person for it. Oh, that's a problem, huh?
爆発やばいやばい
Yep, okay, so in the middle of a fight.
こんなところにいたら疑われてしまいます逃げなきゃ
That's interesting that we're not seeing her escape from that.
雨の中家を出るんじゃなかった、おかげで鼻がグズグズですよ
So that's also interesting, right? She was like going out of her way to like investigate the time stop. This is just again another repeated theme that we're seeing. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but just again this same repeated theme of like putting in the effort, but as soon as something closes in, it's like too much for her, so she just retreats.
しかしそれにしてもねえねえ知ってる爆弾騒ぎ工場のガスが
That's also kind of interesting, right? It's like we're seeing regular people's reaction to the stuff that the magical girls are doing, which is good. I like that aspect of it. It is like kind of a side of the series that we don't really see a lot of. Like obviously Walpurgisnacht was a good example of it, but that's like one of the only examples of it. But still.
うちの近くでさ音がうるさくて目覚めちゃったえマジで学校でも結構な話題ですね爆発物一体誰が何のために
I think we know
と
her.
いうか爆弾を使ったの状況的に私が追いかけていた人物なのでは
Which is interesting, right? Is Mabayu gonna see Homura as an antagonist immediately because of this?
もう少し慎重になった方が良さそうですね
So
ねえまばゆちゃん今朝爆弾騒ぎがあったってね工場でガスが漏れ出したり強盗事件で死傷者が
oh, robberies. Oh my god. Right, it's Homura doing it because this is like early on in her journey. Right, this is exactly the part of her doing like robberies and stuff.
最近何かと物騒ねですねところでまばゆちゃん
That's really
なんですか
fascinating to look at it this way, right? Is seeing the impact Homura's actions have had on the world. She's always been kind of a danger to the world, and it's like coming to fruition in a bigger way in like rebellion, right? So that's really interesting, and especially considering we have Walpurgisnacht Rising
ま
coming.
ばゆちゃん今朝
Coming
早
up.
く外に出たりしてなかったギクちょっと眠れなかったので気分転換にお散歩を雨の中をたまにはそういうのも悪くないかなって早紀江さん疑ってます私を疑ってますよねうなずいた力強くうなずいた
I do like their dynamic, it's very fun.
ちょっと凝り性なところがあるから保護者として預かる以上はちゃんと話を聞いておかなきゃねはい心配かけてすみませんでもあの日外に出たのは本当に偶然で
Which is true.
爆弾を仕掛けたりなんかしてません
Okay, you don't have to add that. That just makes you look more suspicious.
わかったわすぐ分かられたあっさり信じていいんですか自分で言うのもあれですけど私結構怪しいと思うんですけど
I do like that she's self-aware.
もちろん信じるわよだってまばゆちゃん
Always been a terrible liar. Well, there you go. That's a pretty good character trait to have.
それは確かに
To an extent.
まばゆちゃんは抜け目なくいつもズルしようとしてるけど他人
It's like reading my own
に
notes.
迷惑をかけるようなことは絶対しない子よ
Yeah, see, she isn't hostile. She doesn't want to be aggressive. She just wants to get by.
ありがとうございます自分ではそういうつもりは全くないんですけど早紀江さんに笑顔で言われると悪いことはできないなって
Oh, God.
あれ
Poor timing.
また時間が止まってるああ言われたらさすがに免許証は覗き見できない
That's cute. She's like taking it as like, oh shit, no, she is taking it like moral tests for her character, right?
しかし
That's
こ
interesting.
うやって中途半端に時間が止まると困るんですよね
It is also kind of funny slash cute that she's like criticizing Homura for her time stop.
わかんなくて手に余るっていうか
You could always seek out Homura.
ラテアートの練習でもするか
Oh, that's
時
interesting.
間をかけて名ピアニストにってわけにはいかないですけどちょっとした時間で練習するならこのくらいのことはと
Oh, that's gonna be that's really interesting, right? So she's gonna use the time stop to like do the things that she feels the world would be, like she would be overwhelmed by in the real world. Oh, I like that. That's a really good application of
やっぱりうまくいかない
That's a really good
って
application
い
of
うか
this.
失敗作飲みすぎたかも
あらまばゆちゃんこれはかわいい猫ちゃんねクマさんかしら
カバ
It's a hippo.
あらあらそうだったのね
とほほほやっぱり下手ですよね練習したらいつかうまくなれるのかな
Well, if you keep using infinite time, it seems, maybe you can.
お腹がタプタプカフェインで今夜もまた眠れなくなりそうな予感こうなったらつまらなそうな B 級映画を借りて一気見
I really wanted to meet Homura. Oh shit, Labyrinth.
あれなんか
Is this
辺りが暗い
Gertrude's Labyrinth? No, it's not quite Gertrude's.
ちっちゃい影が動いたようなもしかしてエイミーかな
Wow. Interesting.
ちょっと虐待動物虐待ですかダメですってあの子はどこですかっていうかここはどここんな場所この近くにあります
So that's interesting. We're at a point in time where Kyoko's in Mitaki Horror City early. You know, we haven't seen Mommy for a while.
自動車工場でもこんな感じの場所に迷い込
So I do wonder if this is like after Mommy kicked the bucket, maybe? I don't know. Because it's weird seeing Kyoko in Mitaki Horror City so early, I guess.
とどめだ
But then again, if we go off the original series, she like it's only like 2 days, 2 or 3 days into Homura's loop that she like is killed. So I guess this isn't technically early. Or maybe it could be, you know, the flow of time in Madoka Magica, like it's kind of hard to piece together like exactly how much time
急に
passes through each
公園に戻っ
episode.
た
Okay, but it is pre character growth
こっちは
Kyoko.
ただ働きでいい迷惑だっての。はあ、
あ、バームクーヘン美味しそう。じゃなくて、なんか槍振り回して一体。
あの目隠れの子、ちゃんと逃げただろうな。
Oh.
目隠れの子。ああ、私のこと、私助けられたってことですかね。野犬でもいたとか。いやいや、まさか。
にしてもマミのやつどうしちまったんだ。
Huh.
だ
Okay.
からあんなやつらのさばらせておくわけないの。なんか嫌な感じだぜ。
That's interesting.
飛んで消えた。
Wow. Okay. So from what we're getting here is like clearly a shakeup of what we would be expecting, right? Like at this point, Kyoko showing up this early in Misaki Horror City, usually it means something's happened to Mommy. Maybe something has happened to Mommy, and that's why the familiars are running around. Because as Kyoko said, Mommy's pretty meticulous with her work. Enough to go overboard on literal, like, small fry like familiars,
昨日のあ
but
れ
you know.
何だったんでしょう。あの動き。
But we haven't seen Mommy in a while, so maybe
じゃありえないような。
maybe that is why familiars are running around, because Mommy isn't here. No, Mommy's here, never mind, wow.
着席。
マミって言ってましたよね。まあ珍しい名前じゃないですし、ともえさんのことなわけないか。
I mean, there's no other Mommies in Mataki Horror.
あれ、
Okay, yeah, again, Mommy obviously knows.
こっちを意識
It's
して。
always the characters that are motherly that know, right? Like Mommy clearly knows something's up with Mabayu. Sakie can clearly tell there's something up with Mabayu. Junko Kaname knows that there was something more with Madoka.
なんで私
Though this is interesting, right? It's kind of like Mabayu and Mommy, at least at the moment, seem to have a dynamic very early on that's like Homura and Madoka.
ともえさんと教室では会話
Holy
され
shit, no, it is exactly like Madoka and Homura, right? Because Madoka first saw Homura in a dream and then all of a sudden she shows up. It's exactly the same here. Well, although Mabayu presumably didn't first see Mommy in a dream, but Mommy has been in her dreams. So that's interesting.
いや、もしかしたら1回くらいはありましたか。クラスメイトだからおかしくはないですけど。そうか、クラスメイト。クラスメイトなら友達として普通に話しかけたって問題ない。
I really do like Magia Record and like Magia Exeter for stuff like this, right? Getting to see an internal look at these characters in this way. Episode 10 of Madoka Magica is like one of the few times that we really got to get something like that in the original series, for Homura specifically, because they like dedicated that whole episode specifically to it, and I love seeing it here. It's like validating what you're expecting, like, right? Like, I already noted down a lot of the stuff that we're seeing here being shown to us in
まず
her voice, her thoughts.
友達え、ともえマミさん。
はい。
ですね。昨日公園で変な子を見たんです。
はあ。
マミって名前 だからもしかしたら知り合いかもって。
よくわからないけど、その子はどんな方なのかしら。
なんか赤い変な服を着て槍をブンブン振り回してバームクーヘンを。いいえ、ごめんなさい、なんでもないです。不審すぎますよ、私。赤い服で槍でバームクーヘンそんな知り合いいるかって意味わかんなすぎる。ともみさんの怪訝な瞳が目に焼き付いて。
Yeah, there you go again, right? Putting in the effort, immediately hating it, immediately wanting to withdraw. Like, there's a good reason for this. Wow, she's even thinking of going home in the middle of class because of how bad that was. That's fucking sad.
おい、アキ、どこに行く？今日は追試だぞ。教室に残れ。
やば、忘れてた。
God, I feel so fucking bad for this girl.
まずいまずい。ここで合格できないと内申点に大ダメージが。でも暗記していないのに歴史上の人物なんて書けないし。
That's interesting because, like, when we first started this, she was like, oh, you know, let it be anything, but whatever she was focusing on at the time. One of the things she mentions was, like, historical pieces, right? She's watched historical movies and stuff, like war movies and that, and now all of a sudden that same concept of, like, historical figures is, like, daunting to her. It's an interesting evolution. The things she was comfortable with are kind of becoming foreign to her, and the things that she wasn't used to is like stuff she's trying to do, right? Like reaching out to people, talking to them, being more proactive. Wow, could not have fucking timed that better. That's kind of insane. But I feel like we're gonna see, like, look, nobody gets a free pass in this series, right? I guarantee it's probably gonna be something like, you know, she tries to sneak notes and gets caught. Not quite the heavens, but, you know, close enough.
テストが始まったばっかりで誰も答案に手をつけてない。あと10分遅れて時間が止まってくれたら。いや、しかし諦めるにはまだ早いですよ。
That's also a different...
時間が止まったり進んだり何回も繰り返したことだって。
Where there's a will, there's a loophole. Okay.
きっとしばらく待っていれば。
And what if it doesn't, right? She's so caught up on this idea of something happening that she just lets opportunity pass her by. Yep, yep, there you go. Wow. She could have literally used this time to do anything else, right? She could have looked at teacher's notes. I'm not saying to do that, by the way, but like she could have done that, right? She could have done anything. She could have been proactive during this, but isn't. Because she gets used to an idea and then fixates on that and expects it to keep happening, right? She isn't, she, again, like, she just is not willing to do anything different than what she's used to.
動き出した途端時間が進むんでしょ。分かってますとも。
No, you don't. It's not a thing, you just know how it works.
急にしまえない。カンニングがバレたらサキエさんに迷惑をかけますから。
But at least she is thinking, right? Like I said, she is self-aware, and that's good. That's a good character trait. Dude, how long is this gonna last? Holy crap! What the hell is Homura doing, bro?
時間全然進まない。考えてみれば今までも 何がきっかけで時間が進んでたのか。
No, it has not been a pattern.
もう二度と時間が進まない可能性もないわけじゃない。いやいやいやいや。
That's really fucking dangerous to think about, right? Like, what if Homer just, oh, what happens to a timeline when Homer leaves it, right? Because it's not like, again, we touched upon this in the last reaction. It's not like Homer goes back to the start of a timeline, right? She jumps from a timeline, she abandons it. ReZero kind of touched upon this. Like, season 2 of ReZero kind of touched upon this, showing us that when Subaru uses Return by Death, it's not like he actually goes back in time. He, like, jumps to an earlier point in time, but on a different timeline. And that timeline that he left is still running, right? It's the branch timeline theory approach to time travel. And it's similar for, it's similar for Homura from what we understand of how her time travel works. So, what if when she abandons a timeline, it, like, completely freezes forever? I wonder if that's what's happening here.
どれだけ時間が経ったのか、時計も止まっちゃってますし。
Holy shit, yeah. That could be exactly what this is. I can't believe I've never theorized about that before, like what happens to the timelines Homer abandons.
行きたい。移動中に時間が進み出したら、勝手に追試を放棄したことに。時間停止していなければ、普通に先生に声かけできるのに。でもこの状態じゃ呼びかけることもできなくて。
Could leave a note. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, it could actually be that Homer's time stop, like, freezes a timeline permanently once she abandons it. Oh, okay.
どうしたアキ。
お手洗いに行ってきます。
おお、そうか。
Wow. Okay, so it's not exactly that. So why was it taking so long for her, I wonder? Oh, you know what, it could be Charlotte. It could be like the cake labyrinth, maybe. I want you to find out who's causing it too. Like, oh, it's so... Whoa. We jumped way ahead. Day 22, what the fuck?
全然わからない。ヒントさえ見つかんない。時間停止のタイミングはバラバラ。強いて言えば夕方から夜が多い。
Oh, dude, that's actually really...
抵抗もないし、停止時間も長かったり短かったり。テストの後、あの時みたいに長い停止はまだなくて、止まった時間に閉じ込められずに済んだのは良かったですけど。
Well, I don't know, girl. We, like, opened up on the time stop, and who knows how long that's been. Has she even noticed this time stop? Here's lots of cake. Hey, well, that's good. She is using the time stop effectively. Oh, that's cute. Oh shit, finally, dude, we're gonna see it. I'm finally gonna see them interact. Wait,
先に行くわね。
Oh, right, that's Homura. I'm like, who the hell?
今店の前を通ったのって。人影走ってる。私の他にも止まってる時間の中で動ける人が2人。私の他にもいるんだ。追いかけなきゃ。多分この辺りだと思うんですけど、女の子でしたよね。こんな場所で一体何を。というか、見つけたら私どうしたらいいんです。
Yeah, good point. Right, she just guns ahead, doesn't really have much of a plan. Exactly the same way she was reacting to
爆弾を持ってるかもしれないのに。
trying to use
まさか
time stop.
時間停止の力で爆弾を仕掛けるテロリストとか。
Holy shit.
にならんですよそれ。お、時間また進んだ。
Ooh, there's what I was talking about before. Saki is probably gonna have a bad reaction to seeing her, to not seeing her there. Especially if something happens like, you know, an explosion here. Whoa, really? Elsa Maria's dungeon? We're that far? Well, I guess we would be, right?
肝心前にも逃げなきゃ。でも出口は。さくらさん、
遅かったじゃないか。後輩を見殺しにするのかと思ったよ。
That's interesting. Oh my god, so...
あなた
Okay, so obviously
に変わってしまった
Sayaka's probably gonna kick the
私
bucket.
の知ってる巴まみはこんな魔女をのさばらせない。
あれはクラスメイトのともえまみさんと、この前公園で助けてくれたさくらさん。なんかいきなり堅牢な雰囲気ですけど。
They probably will. Man, I really do hope we get to see a fight between Kyoko and Mami in Walpurgis Nacht Rising. That'd be really fucking cool. Mostly because of the different story, right? They had their fight in the different story manga.
影っぽいやつを
It'd just be so fucking cool to see. Yep, okay, so it is like a timeline where Madoka's become a magical girl. Okay, good. Good to know. There we go, right? Amy became pretty important to Mabayu, and because Madoka was like related to that, there you go. There was her keeping Madoka in her mind. Another piece of evidence towards that. Well, not evidence, but like another observation about that.
今はあなたに構っている場合じゃない。
確かに。
Damn, Mommy, okay,
あ
sheesh.
んたを倒したところで
Mommy did
ご褒美もらえるわけじゃないしね。
Mommy did kind of have a Mommy did always have like kind of that hardcore attitude that I really liked. I want to see more of that in the future. So it is cool to see another version of this fight with
要さんを切り離した。
it is really cool to see another version of this fight with Elsa Maria, right? Because she was such a cool witch design, and obviously its importance in the original series with Sayaka is like really big, really good. But it's so cool to see another version of this fight.
どうやらちょいと怒らしちまったか。
So I wonder if it is actually Sayaka that's being affected here, or if it's just Madoka.
このままじゃ危ない。さくらちゃん。
ああ、
ティロフィナーレ。すごい。相談もなかったのに、息の合ったコンビネーション。
Yeah. If only we got to see more of that in the anime, that'd be good.
もしかして
I'm sure we will in
仲間なのかな。
I'm sure we will in Walpurgis Nacht Rising.
さくらさん、あなたがおとりになってくれたおかげでグリーフシード独り占めしようってわけ？私にも分けまいただこうじゃないか。ま、いっそ力ずくで奪
Oh,
って
that's really interesting. Obviously, circumstances changed it by the time they met in the anime series, but it's really interesting to see that Kyoko was hostile towards Madoka.
相変わらずずいぶん気が立ってるのね。できるだけ穏便に済ませたかったんだけどな。私が先に駆けつけなきゃこいつはとっくに死んでた。仲間に誘っといて面倒も見られないなんてどうかしてる。マミ、あんた本当に焼きが回っちまったんじゃないか。私が果たした仕事にはそのくらいの価値があるはずだよ。さあ、そのグリーフシード。
I hope, they probably won't, but I would really love for an OVA that actually adapts the different story. It's such a good fucking story and a really good exploration of Kyoko and Mami. We probably will never see it adapted, but like, oh god, dude, I love their dynamics so much.
それは要さんのために必要なもの。あなたに横取りなんてさせない。
Ooh.
他にも人が。あれ、手に持ってるのって爆弾。明美さん、早まっちゃダメよ。
Sweetie. I kind of like that. Like, obviously, she's like the motherly kind, but it's really nice to see that actually be touched upon still.
私は大丈夫だよ。でもまだぞろぞろお友達を引き連れてやがんのか。ええ、そうよ。それが私のやり方。じゃあちゃんと責任取りな。今回のは貸しにしといてやるよ。けど次にまたこんなぬるい真似してたらこの町ごと私が奪ってやる。言ったわね。
So this is kind of interesting that it's going in, like, this is, I thought this would have been specifically Mabayu versus Homura, but it actually seems like it's a massive focus on Mami specifically.
ホムラちゃん、心配かけてごめんね。
Oh, see, you know what I've just noticed? So this is a timeline that has, like, Kyoko, criticizing Mami for, like, taking Homura and Madoka under her wing. This is, like, Homura internalized Kyoko's criticisms of Mami, right? Because this is exactly how she treats Mami in response to taking Madoka and Sayaka under her wing. That is a fascinating
怒ったんですか。
detail.
刃物で脅迫したり爆弾で脅したり、あっという間に服も着替えて。魔女、魔法少女。私また夢でも見てるんですか。
Has anyone even noticed that she's there? Dude, literally nobody even noticed that she's there. It's like, literally she's fading into the background so perfectly. That's kind of depressing, man. But I really do like that that bit with what I just pointed out about Homura internalizing Kyoko's attitude. No wonder they got along in the anime, right? It's like something that's always been kind of a question for us theorizers is like, how come of all people it's Kyoko that Homura gravitates towards for like assistance and stuff? Well, there you go. They both do have the same ideals. It's like, it feels like Homura learned a lot of style off of Kyoko.
夢で
That's really fascinating. I really like that.
ですよね。
And it definitely makes sense, right? Like you've got Homura and Kyoko being like the main two who investigated the mysteries in Mataki Horror City and Rebellion. So it's like they've always gravitated towards each other, and now we kind of have a reason why.
しかもうちの学校の生徒が魔法少女をしているとか、そんなの夢に決まって。
Oh, that's interesting. Something on her window? Oh, no. No, just Mabayu. Sakie.
昨日はお店を抜け出して門限までに帰ってこないなんて。さきえさんは許しませんから。今日からちゃんと規則正しい生活よ。
Man. I do like Sakie. She's like really trying her best to help Mabayu.
やっぱり夢じゃなかった。
Sakie does seem like a good role model for Mabayu, but like...
続きを読んで。はい。草むらの中からはしばらく返事がなかった。忍び泣きかと思われるかすかな声が時々漏れるばかりである。ややあって。
That's kind of like what Elsa Maria's
低い声が答えた。
what Elsa Maria's dungeon actually
歌でも
is.
自分は労災の理長であると。
Ah, interesting. I've got some supplementary research to do. One moment, please. Okay, so I did like a little bit of research. I don't know if specifically this is a reference to something. The closest I could find is a royal family from China, from the Tang dynasty. I'll have to do some more research off camera, but this is probably something to keep a note of, I'm gonna guess.
ともえさん、間違いない。クラスメイトは魔法少女。
Yep, thank you for the recap.
普段は帰り道を
Tell her.
手で自宅
Oh,
を確認し
interesting.
たわけですが、おかげでお手伝いをすっぽかしたわけ。
Oh, that's interesting. Dude, like I said this before, it's like, it's such a fascinating thing that she is like invisible even to the magical girls, right? Like obviously the magical girls themselves are kind of invisible to the human side of things, but like for her to be invisible to them is like, man.
ほんと散々な夜でした。でも
So yeah, she's kind of seeing mommy as like, mommy is to her what Homura is to Madoka in some ways. That's pretty interesting, I think.
まだぞろぞろお友達を引き連れてやがんのか。
Oh, did you guys notice that? Hang on a minute. Hang on, I need to make sure I'm not saying things here. Okay, no. So, but like, on the side here, and obviously you could see it better before when the background wasn't also dark, it was like film strip, right? It's like things that are important to her are being actively recorded to her memory kind of thing. That's interesting. Burning it onto the film almost.
夢じゃなくて彼女たちが魔法少女だったとするならば、私は彼女たちの時間停止の魔法に巻き込まれている。
Wow, she solved that.
なんて名推理。
She solved that pretty quickly.
私の時間停止の問題も解決にぐっと近づきました。ただ問題なのは。
But that doesn't explain how she's able to move independently of the time stop, right? Again, we've been over this so many times, you know, like the time stopping thing, it's like it's so specific, it has such specific rules.
すごく彼女たちが暴力的というか。
You know, that's a fair point, right? To an outsider, this probably would look absolutely fucking insane.
くらいバチバチでしたよね。
Mobster girls. Okay.
声をかけても味方になってくれるかどうか。
That's an AU waiting to happen. Artists, let's see it. Let's see the Mobster girls
爆
AU.
弾爆発させるようなテロリストまがいの人たちですよ。もし正体を知ってるって彼女たちに告げたら。
Do they even know you're there, though?
ありえます。ここは目いっぱい慎重に観察を。
俺がすっかり人間で
But see, there's another thing, right? It's like, it's that repeated thing I was talking about before, where it's like, she doesn't want to be an active participant, but if something is like right on her doorstep, she can't ignore it, right? And this is the
亡くなっ
case
てし
here.
まう前に
She's probably gonna
一
think,
つ頼んでおきたいことがある。
ah, that's interesting. That's a callback to episode 10. It's the Madoka thing, right? It's like, right before she dies and turns into a witch or whatever, she's like, Homura, you have to go back and stop me from becoming a magical girl, and before I turn into a witch here, you have to kill me. Ooh, that's interesting.
よく読めましたね。それじゃあ次はアキさん。
はい。
Oh.
3人仲良くお弁当ですか。愛する私は。
Yeah, dude, this is crazy. It's like repeating what we've seen with Homura, but like in place of Sayaka is Homura, and in place of Homura is Mabayu. That's such an interesting direction for this.
対する必要全然ないですけど。巴さんと他の2人は学年が違うし、部活もつながりがない。それなのに一緒に昼食をとるというのはやはり魔法少女仲間。
And somehow you are too, but you don't know it.
しかし何を話しているのか。独身術でも使えたら読み取れるのかもしれませんが。
Oh, they probably aren't
何
reading.
にせよ距離が遠すぎて。
They probably aren't speaking out loud, right? It's probably telepathy.
巴さんがこっちを見た。いや、私ウォッチ力には謎の自信があります。
Not anymore.
あの距離から気配を察知されるなんて、そんなわけ
She is a magical girl there.
ないですよね。さて、いよいよ放課後です。今日、本当は早紀江さんのお手伝いがありますが。
Oh my god, girl, no, you gotta have better priorities. Saki is trying her best to help you, and you're just. Oh shit.
昨日のあれを見てしまった以上、お店の手伝いなんてしてられない。巴さんが一体何をしているのか。時間停止は彼女と関係あるのか。そして彼女は信頼に値するか。その正体、確かにこの目で見極められ
Yeah.
てます。
Her secrets are that she's fucking chronically lonely and depressed. So you two will get on just fine.
なんでこんな夜にこんな人気のない場所に一人で。いや、正体を見極めるとか意気込んでましたけど、気味悪いし危なそうなんで、そろそろ今日はおいとまを。
逃げる気？
Ah, okay, good. So she definitely does know. Exactly.
私に。
教室からつけてきたのは分かっているのよ。
やっぱりバレてた。
一度しか言わないからよく聞いて。私にこれ以上近づかないで。
That's interesting, right? She's internalizing what Kyoko was criticizing her about.
私は
Whoa.
あなたを
Shit, bro. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. But like, she is like internalizing what Kyoko criticized her about. I bet we go back and Mommy's like, I didn't mean to
まずい
do that or whatever.
ともえさんが今私を殺すっていやいやいやなんで私が命を狙われるようなことをいつわかんないですけどでもともえさんたちと関わったら私は
That is really interesting. What the fuck?
あれこんな感じもしかしてまたいやダメ誰か助けて誰か
Really? Homura? Oh no, okay, it's just the effect of the witch actually attacking. Never mind. Well, surely Mommy steps up to this, right? What the? Huh? Holy shit. What the fuck? What the hell, dude? Okay. So Mabayu just died is the implication there. Wow. This story is going places. I feel like my reaction this time is like a little bit more, passive, maybe. I don't know. I'll just have to watch back and see and tweak what needs to be tweaked and whatever. But hopefully the biggest issue, which was the volume, is better this time. Once again, thank you very much to Raz for allowing me to use the video for reaction purposes. Again, associated links will be in the description, stuff like that. I'm fucking loving Scene0, dude. This shit is amazing. It's really, really engaging. I love it. It's fun to speculate, theorize, and analyze and all that. This is where we're gonna end the video, and again, I'll see you guys in the next part. You guys make sure to like, comment your thoughts on the video, on the story so far, and yeah, we'll pick up in the next part next time. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.